Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Just Tiltum. We've got a special guest in the house today, Matt, the TSM Pepe, also known as Download. You've probably seen a lot of his videos on the TSM subreddit where he's capturing the emotions we all feel as we watch what our team goes through. Why don't you give a shout out and say hi to the people, Matt?
I don't know who you're talking about, but he sounds really handsome. I'm gonna meet him one day. What's going on, guys? I'm downloading some RAM. You may have seen me around. You might catch me on the top of the front page every now and again. Just doing my thing, making reactions to TSM League of Legends matches because I just try and sit down every week and think, how could I sum up my emotions? And normally it's by either Technicolor dance or being mad at EU is normally my pattern. So
EU is always something to be mad at, I think. And of course, we are joined once again, and as always, by Kantos and Harry.
Hey,
What's up?
We're not sure if Harry's playing a game of Hearthstone.
Guys,
right now. We'll keep our eyes
let's
on
keep the enthusiasm in check here, boys. It's getting a little rowdy.
I'm hype.
Oh man, yeah, this is gonna be a goofy one, guys. So, as I said, we got a
I
special.
don't know what you're talking about.
We got the special guest Matt, and we'll just go ahead and get started. And we'll immediately quiet both Harry and Matt as Kantos and I dive very deep into an hour-long analysis of Super Smash Bros. Melee and all the.
Yes, welcome to the Super Smash Bros. Melee only special, starring
my favorite.
starring only Kantos and Mateals, nothing else. Us and Super Smash Bros. Here we go.
Yeah, but no, really. We had B7 this past weekend rather, and as always, Leffen came to compete. He still had the brick wall that is Armada up against him, but I still think it was a pretty solid tournament for him overall. The singles matches were really just amazing, especially both the winners finals, Leffen Armada both playing Fox, and the grand finals, Leffen Armada also again on Fox. But yeah, Harry, what'd you think about B7? Because I thought it was an excellent tournament. I love seeing Leffen come and show out, even though he unfortunately took second, but I still love seeing Leffen come and show out.
Yeah, go Leffen.
Don't worry, Harry. I got you here.
That's all we get from Harry.
Yeah, that's Harry's contribution. No, I loved watching Leffen play here. I know that for him, second isn't good enough, but I gotta say, second is pretty darn good. And again, with how close all of these games were, especially in the singles, they were just so close. Almost all of them were 3-1s, or I'm sorry, 3-2s, where we went to a 5-game with it, and especially those finals, man. We were so close, down to both Leffen and Armada down to their last stock, sitting at over 100% damage. It was so close. It was a really good tournament. Got to give Armada a ton of props. His edge guarding is so on point. He did such a great job of just pushing Leffen off. Every time that Leffen went over the edge or off the edge there, it really felt like he had to work really hard to just get back on the platform. And that's really admirable, I think.
Yeah, and props to Leffen for having so many different creative ways to actually get back on the platform. I mean, we saw some shortened side Bs. There was one part early on in the grand final set where Armada was actually camping him on the edge, and he still went for an up B, but he went at a very strange angle and still managed to get back on the stage. And I was just like, oh my god, how do you think of that? And this is all in the heat of the moment. That's why I think Smash is such a great game competitively to watch once you actually understand it, because truthfully, it can't just look like Mario or Fox are beating the hell out of their friends and you don't understand why. Then somebody falls off the stage and everybody gets hype. But B7, the singles was definitely very hype tournament. As we said, Leffen took second. We also had the doubles of B7, Leffen and Ice pairing up. Got to the finals again. Did not do quite so hot. We had Armada on his signature Peach, partner with Android against Leffen and Ice, both on Fox, and ended in a bit of a 3-0. Yeah, we could have.
Yeah, the first set we went 3-1 and took out Armada Android. Like it started to look really good. Like a 3-1, especially against players like Armada and Android, is really good. I mean, not super unexpected because it's Leffen and Ice, but yeah, that second grand finals, we just got absolutely 3-0'd. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, it just seemed like maybe there was a breakdown in communication or maybe nerves. I mean, any number of things could have been going on. But either way, B7 still a very solid tournament for Leffen. Looking forward to him at, I believe, Smash Summit is coming up next or very soon. I'm looking forward to Leffen coming and showing out and hopefully taking first place there because Evo is honestly not too far away and you're going to want to start getting those tournament wins under his belt. But
Splash Summit, March 2nd to the 5th. Mark it on the calendars. It's happening.
There it is.
Beat me to it.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, so I think that about covers what we have for Smash Bros. Kantos, you got anything else you want to toss in there?
No, again, it was a fun tournament. Not really a whole lot of competition. Again, other than maybe Armada, Leffen, and Ice. But it's still always a lot of fun to watch some high level Smash. Again, all of the finals, between all the winners finals, all the losers finals, all that grand finals were all a lot of fun in both singles and doubles. So yeah, definitely watch them and get ready for some Smash Summit. So yeah, let's move on to League.
Absolutely. And on the topic of League, Matt, Harry, Kantos, we had a 2-0 week.
We had a 2-0 weekend that honestly I didn't see coming. I was kind of nervous. I was gearing up to make the the saddest O2 video you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
But we watched the I was watching the C9 match and just I was reveling in the fact that we were able to pull this off, and then FlyQuest was icing on the cake at that point. I just wanted to beat C9 really badly.
Well, I absolutely
and they're undefeated.
Yeah, I completely see why you were ready for that O2 weekend. I mean, we were talking about it and dreading it last week here on the podcast. And if we were to have an O2 weekend, it was definitely going to be against Cloud9 and FlyQuest, two of the best-looking teams so far. We absolutely were expected to lose. We were the underdogs coming into this weekend. So it was great to see quite the turnaround, to see the TSM at form that we've been looking for, and hopefully just continue to pick up, especially after that horrible loss against Echo Fox. So it was really encouraging, and I absolutely see why everybody was ready for an O2. I was pretty ready for it, hoping for the best, but expecting.
We did get a little bit of a taste since Echo Fox started. Echo Fox kind of came up in the week before against, I forget, it was either C9 or FlyQuest. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, but we saw some of the weaknesses of FlyQuest and C9 kind of manifest themselves the week before. And so while hope was not completely lost, it was not going to be easy no matter what the team showed up like. It was going to be just an absolute brawl. So
yeah, but fortunately we 2-0'd them boys. So let's go ahead and get into game one. And unfortunately, game one started out with Turtle giving me a damn heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
And I actually want to go to Harry on this one because for those of you who don't know, Harry's a bit higher elo than some of the other people on this podcast. So I'm just curious, Harry, when you saw Turtle flash forward, what possible explanation could there be for that kind of, I don't even know what to call it, mistake, action, decision, fat finger?
Report this boosted fucking monkey? I don't know.
Holy shit.
I think he just misclicked. I don't know. I mean, it was obviously, I don't know. It was just like a stupid mistake. It looked really fucking stupid live watching that. I was like, okay, that's Wild Turtle. Flashing in, aggro style all the time. Level 1 on Jin, let's go. Or level 2, I don't
know.
know.
He had that fourth shot though. You gotta get that crit in.
Fourth shot. It's gonna blast Sneaky for more than half of his health. That's
right.
easy.
So I mean, XD. I don't fucking know. It was really dumb.
It was kind of like it's like that moment when you realize your mortality. And you realize that life is meaningless and it's just going to end one day.
Hello,
it's kind of how it felt when I watched. I was like, well, this is my life now.
This is it. This is what I do now.
We
watch TSM. We watch them flash into the enemy and die for it. But thankfully, it seemed like the theme of this game was we got Tree SM, Haunter on the big tree. Tree We got Haunter on the big tree Maokai, and Bjergsen also playing a fantastic Orianna, coming through with a pentakill. But one of the things that's actually been a a bit of a constant theme going around TSM's play in the LCS is their issue of shot calling. Recently, Haunter stated in an AMA that Kantos had an exclusive access to.
I did.
That he wanted
Ooh,
to
look
step
at
up.
you.
Yeah, I know, he's fancy, right? But he wanted to step up in shot calling, and I think we're starting to see the beginnings of that. Don't you guys agree?
Oh, absolutely. They've looked, especially this week, you can kind of tell when Bjergsen's the shot caller because his individual play in the mid lane will kind of deteriorate. And as evidenced by this, what did he go, 7-1-7 in this game? Or
No, this was 8-0-2.
No,
from
this is a
Europe.
different
Oriana
one.
was 8-0.
What?
Yeah.
Let me check. 8-0. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he didn't show many weaknesses in the mid lane, and they just looked incredibly coordinated and aggressive on their engages with the Maokai, and I don't know. This looks to me like Haunter may be taking a little bit of the reins as far as the shot calling goes, at least for the engages, because those were spot on, those Maokai engages. So
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you know, we can't go through game one without talking about. I mentioned once before, but that Bjergsen pentakill. And I would honestly say, though Bjergsen got all the kills, Haunter was kind of still the ball delivery system that got the pentakill and all the kills kind of rolling.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic game one that to me said that, okay, nice, TSM is here. You know, we got the aggressiveness, we got the shot calling, we've got Bjergsen in the mid lane popping off, we've got Haunter popping off, Turtle fail flash and then he didn't die anymore. Biofrost also went deathless, so you know, game one was pretty solid all around. So I'm gonna go ahead and go around, starting with you, Kantos. You have an MVP for game one. Is it Mr. Penta? Is it TSM? Biofrost is quietly on the deathless Nami. What do you got?
It's really tough. I think the obvious one is to give it, you know, to the Haunter TSM. Like we were just kind of talking about, this felt like Haunter's TSM. It felt like he was leading the charge everywhere. Putting him on one of those frontliners is so nice, but I think that he did what he needed to do and allowed Bjergsen to be the MVP that we've been looking for again. He looked so good this weekend. Overall, he just looked really, really nice. Really happy with Bjergsen. I'm actually going to give it to him. He got that pentakill. It was earned. Every single kill, it's not like they just fed them to him. He took every single one and earned every single one. So I'm going to give it to Bjergsen for MVP there.
Awesome. And what about you, Harry? You agree? Bjergsen for Penta?
Let me just look at the damage graph real quick. Yeah, sure, why not?
I guess I'll just toss it to
yes.
Bjergsen.
if I have to.
I don't know. I feel like everyone played pretty well this game, even Wild Turtle, who XD'd it in the landing phase. Everyone played pretty well. But since Bjergsen got the pentakill, and since he did, like, he was such an influential force in the team fights, I think he deserves the MVP for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about you, Matt? Same thing? Got something different for us?
You giving it to Bjergsen? I'll give it to the TSM. I'll take the easy road. I don't care. I think TSM is the most surefire win condition for TSM at the moment. That's why we saw him.
Or any
Where was
team.
he banned? He was picked away. Or when you look at the FlyQuest series, he was either picked away or banned in every single game, because there's no way you're gonna let Haunter have that Maokai now. He's established it as something that he is just god tier on. He's definitely the best Haunter in NA. The best Haunter. Hey guys, Haunter's amazing at being himself. No, he's the best Maokai in NA for sure. I don't really think there's much competition, to be honest, but yeah. I liked his Nautilus in the FlyQuest series, so I'm gonna give this one to Haunter for the TSM, possibly the last TSM of the split if he keeps playing at the level he is, because he has just been tearing it up, and I want to see more of it.
Absolutely. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and slide on down to game two, where we truth be told, I mean, there was some talk going around about Haunter playing like the worst Rumble people have ever seen, and et cetera, et cetera. I have to personally disagree. I don't think it was bad.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it just wasn't what the team needed, I think. And then also Impact kind of showed Hanser up on how bad you can play Rumble Game 3. But we'll get there. But, you know,
Hold
game
my
two,
beer.
right. But so game 2, I think some of the call-outs we've had was Bjergsen on Jace again. And Harry, you may be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that TSM is won with Bjergsen on Jace yet, have they?
Yes,
I
we
have.
did. Yes,
We did?
Yeah,
we
we
did.
have one?
have.
Okay, because I feel like every time we have Bjergsen on Jace, we somehow lose control of the tempo of the game, and then Jace kind of follows his natural curve of, as the game goes on and people get tankier, his poke becomes a little less meaningful, and, you know, the game starts to kind of fall apart. But
Well, who did we beat with Bjergsen on Jace?
I-
Do we know the
I want to say
specific
it was
team?
Envy
Because-
that we beat.
Yeah, okay. There's no way we're beating a high level. There's no way we're beating a high level team with Bjergsen on Jace right now. We just every time we try and execute a comp that has a decent amount of poke, especially from Jace and things like that, or kind of in a similar vein, Corki, but not as much. We always seem to fall short on those, and I don't know if it's a coordination issue. I don't know if it's just us not suiting our style of play, but if we can't execute it, I'd like to see us kind of phase it out of our repertoire, because it's not been a key to success this split by any stretch of the imagination.
yeah, and I agree. I think that the poke heavy comps, I mean, and Harry and Cantos, we were kind of talking about this when we had Turtle on the Varus picks. It seems like the team comps where TSM is focused around laying down a lot of poke and then capitalizing off of the weakened enemy team, they don't play quite as cleanly as we need them to. But we'll go ahead and quickly run through game 2. So again, we had Hanser on the Rumble pick. Not the best. We all know that Hanser is amazing on tanks. So to kind of see him off a tank, it's not even that he's a bad solo player. It's just that the meta dictates that tanks kind of rule the way that the game goes. But what I think really decided this game was that push up mid where we just kind of threw it all out.
I want to
you wanna
talk.
walk us through that?
I want to talk about the early game a little bit more.
Okay.
Especially with the Rumble pick. So I don't know. Like, I don't know why Scar says like the worst one we ever seen. When did he say that? Like, was it on the desk or was it on the
I'm
show
not
he
even
does
sure what
after?
it is. I just
Yeah.
saw
It may have
floating
been
around.
on the desk post match.
Yeah, I mean, what happened was he got camped super fucking hard by Contracts.
Yeah,
And Dick
contract
Rise.
719 in that game.
Yeah,
He really did work.
And a lot of the ganks were like, I don't think Hanser could have really done much about them. It's kind of like those things where you'll get dove by 3 people, and the other side of the map has to make a play to make up for it. There's not really much you could have done as an individual player. And so I don't think it was really Hanser's fault. It should have been the team that took advantage of Hanser getting absolutely butt blasted up in the top lane. And they should have like made plays on Cloud9's bot lane, but they didn't really do it. They felt like I don't know why exactly, but they felt a lot more hesitant this game to make plays across the map. Maybe because Sven's Garrett's Kha'Zix didn't seem very good this game. It could have been anything really. I'm not sure why, but yeah, the early game was kind of a bit weird. I think TSM still got the lead. I think for just taking turrets,
Yeah.
but they
We
never
had the lead
really.
for a while.
Yeah, and we got like first tower, and I think we even got first blood. I don't remember how. I don't remember where that first blood comes from. Maybe Sven got a really good early route. I don't know, but yeah, I felt like that TSM needed to really. If you're going back to VOD review this game, you'd probably asking yourselves why didn't we make a play while Hanser's being bullied in the top lane. And so that's probably the biggest takeaway from TSM's early game. They still won it. I really don't remember how. All I remember from this game is Rumble getting really camped. But then we go into like the mid game, and then they XD'd in their base. Then they gave up Baron, and then we had that fucking clown fiesta where like FlyQuest refused to play around any other side lane whatsoever. And they only got like I think they got our inhibitor without getting a single side tower.
Yeah,
Which
they
was like,
weren't- they
what
weren't
the
playing a
fuck?
1-3-1
Like,
game at all.
Yeah, it was super
I
weird.
think the worst part is we didn't have a response.
Well, yeah, but exactly. We should have had someone probably split, not even split pushing. It
should
should be
have
like
just
someone
do
collapse.
anything.
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
situation, the easy call is like, okay, I have people in the side lanes, and then you get collapse on them if they push too far. But
exactly.
with Baron, that's obviously a bit harder to do with Baron, but still the general concept should be there after Baron. But yeah, it seemed like TSM was it's like I don't know after they lost that team fight near the inhibitor, they're like, oh, okay, next game, whatever. We fucked it up. It felt and everything after that was a huge fucking NA XD. What the fuck? Like everything was just bad. After that, like it was a terrible, terrible late game by both teams. FlyQuest did not play this game well. Oh no, wait, this is the Cloud9 game. Holy shit, wait,
Oh,
this is
no.
no Cloud9,
Yeah.
Cloud9,
Yeah,
no.
no. This was the.
Oh, I've been bamboozled. Okay, wait.
Hit him with the old switcheroo.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
we
no,
got
this is
Cloud9
different.
Blue and white confused.
we still XD'd in their base.
We
But I
confused
think-
Cloud9 with Cloud9.
Yeah, we XD'd in their base. We still did that part, but I think Cloud9 finished it a lot cleaner. I think, right? They actually took like silent. Okay, this was the non XD throw. Okay.
Yeah, this
Um,
was the one where we had that weird ass move around Baron, I believe, and then we just kind of
Yeah.
from them
Yeah.
grouping and pressuring us. But no, we'll get to the FlyQuest game
Cause yeah, we had two throws this weekend. I confused them. My bad.
yeah,
This
we
was
had a Baron throw and we had a base throw. So
yeah,
That
this was
Baron throw. We'll talk about it later. I cannot put into words the things that Baron throw made me feel.
you can put it into a video.
Yep.
Uh-oh, there it is.
I tried. It was just, oh man. All right, we'll get to that in a bit, but
No, let's get to are we on that Baron throw right now?
no, the Baron throw is against FlyQuest.
Wait, what?
Was
Okay.
it not? Am I dumb?
No, the FlyQuest one, we did run it down mid, and then we got ace for no reason, and then they run it down mid, and then they backdoored. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the FlyQuest
Yes,
was
you're
when we
right.
were in our
That
base.
is correct.
in their
Yes.
base.
Okay. C9 we threw at Baron and then
Yeah.
pulled it
Yeah.
back, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so,
baby.
yeah,
Holy
I mean
shit.
it's hard. It's hard dealing with both Cloud9.
We play too many games. This is not fair.
That's all right. Side note, I have to include game footage in every single video I make. I'm downloading 6 videos every week.
Yeah.
Can we just tone it down a
Every
little bit, guys?
fucking week.
Yeah, clean it out. Just take a 2-0 over somebody so I don't have
We
to download
2-0'd
6
in-
hour plus long videos.
Hold up, we're close to winning game 2. We need to lose right now.
No, we can't have that. Shut that down real fast.
We
Let's,
need
let's
that
be careful about
sick ad
asking
revenue.
for 2-game series because, 2 of the 3 last 2-game series we had were 0-2s. So
Yeah, we need.
I will gladly take the
This is true.
2-1s.
This is
No, we
No,
2-0'd in.
I'll take the 3-game W any day of the week. Don't get
And
me wrong.
it's more
I
time
made
to watch
I made
Bio
a video
Daddy.
remark. Oh my god, yes. I made a I think that's in one of my videos where I'm like, "Hey guys, we only win in 3 games," and I kind of made some of the TSM fans a little mad, but it's true.
Yeah.
We've
We're
had success in
very
3 games.
rational.
We 2-0 the worst team in the league. Okay, we got our business.
We got our 2-0 win.
Exactly.
We 2-0'd Envy, guys. It's fine.
Wait, that wasn't a scrim?
Yeah.
Oh, it could have been. Just treat it like
No,
a
Well,
my-
we know for sure
I-
the Echo Fox series wasn't a scrim.
Oh,
Oh baby,
Oh man, shots fired.
spicy.
But
Okay,
all right, so let's go
anyway.
ahead and let's actually
Yeah.
go ahead and power through. Do we want to give an MVP on anyone on C9 game 2? I feel like
I really don't want to.
Contracts.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
contracts
don't want to.
deserves it.
I don't want to, but contracts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
Contracts had a stand
yeah,
up
sure.
performance, he pressured Haunter in that top lane. He shut down his Rumble. He went 7-1-9 on his Lee Sin. So I think, and Jensen also played a very solid Rise as well. But I think overall,
Jensen was a rock throughout the whole series, though. He was.
Jensen's
Yeah.
always
Putting in,
playing
like, every
well
single
this
game.
series. This season, Jensen hasn't had a bad game. I would say.
yeah,
it's
I
pretty
honestly
normal.
don't think he has. But all right, so powering right along to game 3, the game where we had 2 ninjas and we made all of C9 cry constantly.
Ooh,
Yeah, so we had Bjergsen on Zed, and
it is
I'll-
always a treat.
yeah, and I'll just say when we last picked that Zed, my first thought was, oh, he's pissed. Like,
oh yeah, he was mad.
he's really here to mess somebody's life up because very rarely do I mean, a lot of people have some signature champions. I mean, of course, you have Faker's Zed, you have Actually, how many mid laners have Zed as a signature?
Is Ryu is Zed or is Zed Ryu's signature champion?
I think out of shame it can't be.
Well, yeah,
I think that's
I
just
think
the thing
Baker
now.
may have taken the rights to.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely High is it's. I mean, we banned it almost every game against High, so High is another one that's a good Zed player.
Yeah, so it actually may just seem like Zed belongs in the mid lane no matter what's going on. But we had Bjergsen on his Zed.
You heard it here first. On the Just Tiltum podcast, Zed is a mid laner.
Right.
Let's go.
But even with Bjergsen on his Zed, even with having that 9-1-6 scoreline, Jensen, as we said, actually played pretty well. Harry, you felt like he actually dominated Bjergsen in that mid lane, right?
yeah, the matchup. I thought the Echo Zed. I'm not a mid lane man, so I don't think maybe I played this matchup like once. In my head it's like, oh, Zed could just like shuriken and he could just poke the Echo out, but no, Jensen. I think he got first tower versus Zed. And he just made him like sit next to his turret, which was really really surprising. It's hard to imagine Bjergsen was that outplayed in the laning phase, so it might be just like Echo E compensates for all of the poke that Zed might have. But yeah, that was a surprisingly dominant lane for Jensen. But when we got into that Zed mid game, oh baby, we got the Bjergsen
items. Ooh,
Yeah.
Right.
Forget about it.
Well, and I just want to kind of jump in here. I thought Jensen did a great job on Echo throughout the entire game. It was really a shame that his team couldn't kind of pick up. Yeah, I mean, he's getting all these kills, he's diving the back line, and then the rest of the team is literally falling apart. You know, it was tissue paper and water. It just didn't work. A lot of that is attributed to our terrifying front line in Bjergsen Haunter, where you had your ulti onto that Zed going deep. But I would like to point out that Jensen had the dankest game, ending his score at 4-2-0.
Yes.
I just wanted to say
Jensen MVP.
That's
Jensen
right.
MVP. It's fine.
Man. But actually, Kantos, one of the things I wanted to get your opinion on was Svenskeren in the jungle. So he had a bit of a rough time early game, yeah? He
that's putting it lightly. Yeah, he had a rough start. I kind of feel bad for him, but he had a really rough start. And Graves is actually something he performs really well on. So with Svenskeren, one of the last things that you think of is poor pathing or being out jungled. And he kind of had a little bit of both here in the very beginning. He got 0-2'd within the first 15 minutes. The first 10 minutes. He as soon as he walked into River, was dead, and then tried to go back and take his Raptors or take Red and was dead. He had such a rough start there. But for all of that, and this is something, Joey, that you and I kind of we jumped on a little bit, he came back. And he may not have been, the dominating force in that game, but the fact that he didn't tilt off of his ass and just completely become irrelevant and saying, guys, LOL, carry me. He actually did work. He made some really good plays, some really good ganks, and ended up being a decent front line towards the end of that game. And with a start at 0-2, how many junglers can you say would come back that strong? It was impressive. It was really impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was actually having a bit of a wild turtle from game one moment where when I saw Contracts get that first kill, I was like, oh crap, now we're behind. And then he killed him again, and I was like, well, shit, there's the game.
Yeah.
Contracts has 2 kills, but like you and Harry and Matt all mentioned, Jensen played his heart out. Contracts wasn't able to translate his lead. But I think the biggest question mark of all was that Rumble pick on Impact.
Oh my goodness! I'm glad Impact picked it, just so people wouldn't be shit talking Haunter for it.
Yeah,
he really stole the show with that Rumble.
Right. Yeah, with all the people saying I've never seen a Rumble play that bad in pro play, Impact, he was like, I got something for you. Let me show you what a bad Rumble
Impact
really looks like.
Impact just didn't play well this weekend. I don't know he kind of got benched, I think, in his second series. I don't know what was going on. And
yeah, I think they ended up putting Ray in the series.
Yeah, and fucking Ray has not been that good. I mean, he's been okay.
No, Ray has not been, a noteworthy top laner this split.
So that's really concerning because I think even behind the scenes I've been starting to hear like, oh, Impact and Scrims, he hasn't been playing well, and then it's starting to happen on stage, and so Reaper's like, oh shit, the gig's up. So
They know.
so yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know why Impact, who, if you're just gonna take the first 3 weeks into consideration, was probably an MVP candidate, is now shitting the bed so hard. Like, he made so many bad never mind like the very mediocre mechanical play he brought this Rumble. What, like, just his positioning on the map was really, really bad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just, I don't know. Like, that was a really weird game. Impact is seen as a bit of a shot caller. He's seen as a smart player. In this series, he put, yeah, he just, yeah, Impact, whatever. Anyway, so
You can't
yeah,
avoid
he just,
the joke. Just accept it.
yeah, it's not, yeah, I don't know. It's really strange to see a player fall off this sharply over the course of like a week. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it is just a huge question mark where it's, I don't know if maybe he's having, just like you, Harry. I can't even really fathom what would cause such a drastic drop off and perform. I mean, if it was kind of a gradient, if it was over time, it was one of those things where we could steadily see Impact's performance decreasing, or just kind of be phased out of relevance as new players come in. But that hasn't been the case. Impact was the star of C9, not more than a month or two ago, I'd say. And here we are, TSM versus C9, where he's going 6
6 and 3.
Yeah, going 6 and 3 on Rumble, which is a high damage carry against a
That
team
is
with
surprising.
really only one true tank in Haunter. And I mean, I don't know. It's a question mark. Maybe he'll clean it up. Maybe he won't. I'm not sure. But something else I want to kind of talk on as we bridge between our first game win and our second game win, going for our 0-2 week of greatness, is Biofrost on his damage supports. Now, Biofrost, he played Nami all 3 games against FlyQuest. He played Nami the first game against C9, and I do believe that across the weekend he died once on Nami across the entire weekend. Then we had him.
Oh my god, he did.
Yeah, he had one death on Nami the entire
Wait, hang
weekend.
on.
Yep.
Is it
Confirm.
And
good?
but with that being said,
that is incredible.
I don't know that Biofrost has actually had solid performances on supports like Zyra and Malzahar and other supports who are basically running almost kill/pressure lanes.
Yes. Okay, that is something that I have been kind of looking for from TSM in the pick ban phase. Is you have to just ban Malzahar. Biofrost is not comfortable on that champion, clearly. You have to ban the Malzahar or figure out a way to deal with it, because any team that has been really systematically dismantling TSM has been able to pick a Malzahar and, maybe one other champion with a single target lockdown and just run a nasty pick comp against TSM.
So,
And
actually,
we just
fun
can't
fact,
deal with
TSM in all 6 of these games first banned Malzahar. Every single
Yeah, exactly. And it made me so happy to see that we had made that adaptation in our pick ban, and just kind of realized that that's not something that we are equipped to deal with just yet. And I've mained Malzahar for the better part of a year and a half, and I've never
Wow.
been so happy to see him banned.
It's like, wow, where did this fascination of Biofrost's Malzahar come from? Like, oh,
I actually, that's how I got started in the community. I pretty much built from the ground up the r/Malzahar mains subreddit right now, which is
Jesus.
closing in
Oh,
on
really?
1,000 subs, I believe.
Hey,
And then
what
I
the
got
fuck?
exiled from it. So that's fine.
Wow. Well,
That's
a story
we
for-
can talk about that after we're done talking with the games.
Yeah,
if you guys
we'll-
want to,
we'll
if you
see
guys
if
want
we
to hear
can
a
slip that
story,
in toward the end.
little anecdote, but yeah.
Yeah, so again, game 3, we have the double ninja comp. Bjergsen popping off on his Zed. Haunter having a very strong performance, although it was against a slipping Impact, so Haunter probably would have had an equal performance against the training dummy from Practice Tool. It's one of those things where he pressured the map appropriately. And with all that being said, Jensen tried his absolute best to carry Cloud9 kicking and screaming to a game 3 victory, and it did not come out. So first game win of the weekend, going to you first, Harry. Who do you have for MVP in game 3?
In game three, wait, what's that? Okay, for game three, I have, I think there's some debate over this where it should be Hanser or Bjergsen. For me, it's Bjergsen because he was just more impressive. I think it's more impressive to go off on Zed than it is to go on top bot. Um, so I don't know. I just think it was like a more skillful performance. I think it was, I don't know, MLG for 720 no scope. I'm more into that. Like Hanser did his job, but it's like, I mean, um, Bjergsen just made it so easy for him. Where it's like I'm more impressed by Bjergsen's play than Hanser's.
I can definitely see that, and I think that I read a comment somewhere where it's like I thought Zed fell off in a late game. It's like not when Bjergsen's playing him because Bjergsen knows how to actually target appropriate champions. So you next, Matt. Who you got MVP game 3?
I would pick Bjergsen, but the meme is Tauntser. So I am going to go with Hanser in the top lane twice in a row for my MVP because that man is just irresistible.
You see a shirtless Haunter pick and you just can't help yourself, huh?
I just can't. I'm like, Hanser on Shen, it's too spicy. I can't. So I would give it to Bjergsen if I were following my brain, but my mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes with this Hanser MVP.
Oh man, with all the references you can muster. So Kantos, last C9 TSM MVP game 3. What are you thinking?
All right, so and Harry and I, like Harry said, we were going back and forth on this and who we really thought the MVP for this. I am so happy to see Bjergsen Zed. I thought that he played the late game really, really well, but we said it earlier. He kind of got pushed out in the early game. He kind of lost lane against Jensen, but his roam late game and then obviously his team fighting really shone through. But I still have to go with Hanser. And there's a couple of reasons. So one is the fact that we were just criticizing Hanser's Shen, where he was not landing any taunts. He has struggled almost this whole season to land
You're absolutely
taunts.
right.
He has been missing, and they're obvious taunts where he's like, I don't know, and I think I said it last week, where he's trying to think 2 steps ahead, and they're not following through. He's trying to predict too far and trying to make these MLG taunts, and he's just not landing anything. So I think to see Hanser back on form with Shen was nice. It was refreshing. The push that he had, again, I think a lot of the Zed play was kind of pushed through both Hanser and Bjergsen in sync there. There was no hesitation when Bjergsen was getting ready to go in. Hanser was on him. He was ulting him. So I still have to go with this being Hanser's TSM. I think that he pushed a lot of these fights. I think we were struggling, I guess not really struggling, but a little slower in the early to mid game, and I think that Hanser really made a push along with Bjergsen to just force us into a winning game. And so I'm still going to go with Hanser.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, and I actually agree. I think that overall we're seeing Hanser kind of start to emerge as a very extremely dominant top laner and also a voice on the team in terms of aggressiveness, because it really did seem like the aggression was dialed up to 11 for TSM over the course of this weekend, and they were not quite so lax. And I don't know if that's a byproduct of maybe Bjergsen not, if he's the primary shot caller, maybe not wanting to make those aggressive calls, but it seems like Hanser isn't quite so inhibited in making aggressive plays, and the team is mechanically solid enough that they can kind of back it up, which is similar to the double lift effect I think that we saw, where it wasn't always the smartest move to go aggressive, but we're all great players, so even if it's not the best move, we can still make it work. So moving right along to TSM versus FlyQuest, and I'll admit, I came into this game, I was riding the high of beating C9.
Riding the high!
I was wondering who would get it. It's Kantos.
Of course
I
it's
get
Kantos.
it now that Kantos points it out.
Yeah.
But no, we, the joy of beating C9, who's the number one team in the league, who was the number one team in the league, and coming into the FlyQuest game, I personally felt that FlyQuest and TSM were kind of more on the same level, and C9 were a bit above them. But with TSM taking down C9, I felt like our chances were decent to actually give FlyQuest a run for their money. And I do believe we can say that is what happened. We took this series as well, 2-0 boys. Can't say it enough because we got our first 2-0, well, not our first 2-0 weekend, but our first, we had the hardest schedule of.
Oh yeah, this.
Yeah, I think has any
this
other team had to
week-
play both C9 and FlyQuest in the same week?
Maybe.
in the
I
same
don't know.
weekend. No,
Maybe.
I
can
I don't
I
think.
can maybe see one team doing it. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
here we can probably check. Yeah, here I'm gonna go. I'm gonna look that up. I'm
right.
on it.
All right, so while Matt
Detective
goes back-
Ram on the case.
right? So
Download some detective.
right. So while
Alright,
he
here we go.
does some detective work, we'll go ahead and hop into game one. So we were talking about Svenskeren v contracts last series, and Svenskeren seemed maybe a little upset. I think it was actually a two-parter. I think that maybe Svenskeren wanted to show that he wasn't kind of slipping as a jungler, and I also think he just kind of wanted to show Moon why you don't disrespect me by picking Shaco jungle in a pro game and expecting to do something. I'm not quite sure what.
Okay.
No,
but-
his Shaco
Okay,
was
update. Also, yeah, the Shaco was ridiculous. CLG had to in week 2,
Okay.
okay.
and they lost both very, very decisively.
No shit.
Well, I mean, TSM v CLG. We're always winning wherever we can.
CLG,
Oh,
well,
of course.
CLG is like CLG is doing all right now. We have to play them.
Yeah,
Are they?
Yeah, CLG is
I-
actually
yeah,
kind of
they're-
on the
they're
rise.
very-
They're playing
they're
much
middle of the
cleaner
pack,
recently. So coming into the season, we're playing them next, aren't we? Once we come back.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
2
so
weeks.
I'm
yeah.
actually-
If I have if I have a secondary team to root for, it's always going to be Echo Fox. I just really want good things for that team. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're a pretty solid team overall.
Yeah, it's just I like Rick Fox. I'm a huge traditional sports fan, especially NBA and NFL and NHL. I guess I'm a huge hockey fan. But seeing a Rick Fox team, I just need that in my life. That needs to hang around for a little while. So I can get my fix of winning from TSM, and as long as Echo Fox don't get relegated, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, well,
Man.
I mean, it seems like Echo Fox is playing pretty solid, so I don't think we're going to be seeing.
Well,
them
they
relegated
just
as
got
long as
2-0'd.
teams-
Yeah, they did. They took a nasty. They took a beating.
They
They're
went
4 and
they
6
went
right now. They're
0-4. They
Yeah.
shit the fucking bed.
Oh no!
It was-
I
it
had
was a
no
bad
opportunity
time.
to watch any other games this weekend, so I had no idea.
Acadian.
I sit down.
Last week I was all on the Acadian hype train and.
they lost to Envy.
Yeah,
They
I
lost to
hopped
Envy?
on.
They lost 2-0 to Envy.
Oh no! Oh no!
Goodness.
Yeah.
All right,
me.
but before we fall too far into the pits of
Yes,
despair,
yeah, all right, yeah.
let's get back to TSM versus FlyQuest.
Absolutely.
Lee Sin, Svenskeren versus Moon's Shaco. And I'm gonna go to you, Harry.
Moon's Shaco.
What could a Shaco do in professional play that would be impactful? Or do you think this was just kind of like a troll pick that they were hoping would kind of work out?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, I mean, we've seen some really weird things from FlyQuest's pick ban in the last couple weeks. They actually this wouldn't be the first time that their pick ban came back to bite them.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
J4.
I think it was when was it against Dignitas? They picked
Yeah,
J4?
They got OT
Twice.
Fucking dig.
Yeah.
God.
Dignitas. So this is not the first time they've tried to get a little weird with their pick ban, and it ended up biting them in the ass. I guess I thought since Moon has been the only guy playing Evelynn, and he's been just wrecking on it, that that his Shaco would have a little bit more, like he'd bring something more to the table than just literally an int feeding clown in the jungle. But luckily I was wrong, and it turns out that it was just another bad wacky pick that
I
they
don't-
tried slipping by us. Yeah.
I
They tried cheesing us, and
I
it
don't
didn't
know.
work.
He played like he was playing Master Yi. It was like he's just farmed the jungle, and then he ran it down mid with his, and just died randomly and went back to the jungle. I don't know what the fuck was going on with him that game. That was, yeah. I don't.
I mean, hey, I'm not complaining, man. That is,
Yeah.
if the enemy jungler would do that every game, I think we'd be in much better shape. But Svenskeren's Lee Sin, just kind of, I guess, circling back to that. In contrast with the Shaco, it's night and day. I mean, it's like me trying to out jungle Svenskeren here, because his Lee Sin is world class. He took it to world's last split or last season, and
I
still
think he
beat
was
the crap
best.
out
Yeah,
of.
I still think he was the best Lee Sin at the World Championship.
Oh, easily,
absolutely.
easily.
Well, there's some good Lees there, but I think he was the best.
You mean Meteos' Lee wasn't the best you saw at Worlds?
Oh, I
Oh,
We got some shots fired again.
Oh my goodness! Did I do that?
But
anyway, yeah.
But yeah,
I
so
think
that game one
Yeah.
was pretty solid. We also saw Bjergsen on another one of his signatures, champion Syndra. Didn't quite have the same breakout performance.
yeah, not very.
Yeah, he
Kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, and this is something that both Kantos and I, as well as Harry, have been kind of going back and forth about whether Bjergsen Syndra has, I guess, declined in skill or it just isn't working in the meta, or has Bjergsen as a player not been as careful in his positioning. And Kantos, I want to hear your side of it. Is it that Bjergsen isn't that great on Syndra right now, or is this is his scoreline, the 449, kind of indicative of what we've been seeing over the course of this season?
so yeah, we had a lot of discussion on this Syndra. Is he just getting worse? I mean, we've seen a lot of really mediocre to poor Syndra showings on Bjergsen, which is so unlike Bjergsen. I mean, Syndra, other than Zed, and in fact before Zed, Syndra was his signature champion. That's where he got his first pentakill on Copenhagen Wolves. That's been essentially a Frog Nivea of Bjergsen's, kind of his own pocket pick that always worked for them whenever they just needed a really clutch win. So it's surprising to see him kind of drop off in performance with Syndra especially. And in this game, I think the biggest problem is not his particular mechanics with Syndra, or his how good his Syndra is, or how good Syndra is. I think the problem is his positioning, and this is something that we've been seeing the past couple weeks. We saw with Corki, we saw with Azir, where he's just had some really questionable positioning overall. And I think Syndra is another one of those, where he's playing these really backline champions really forward. And with the Syndra, we saw that, where he was playing it too forward. He'd go deep to get that kill, and he'd essentially get blown up. Or he's, in the back line with Hauntzer, and you're thinking, why are you all the way back here? Why aren't you with your back line? So I want to attribute it more to his actual positioning, his actual calling. I think he's trying to shot call these fights by being at the front of these fights, and I don't think that's where he needs to be. I think he needs to be sitting in the back, destroying their front line or sniping the back line from the back, instead of putting himself out of position here. So I'm going to attribute it more to his particular positioning as a player rather than his skill on the champ.
Yeah, and I'd agree. Yeah. That's just me personally. I know, Harry, you had a bit of a disparate opinion with Bjergsen on his Syndra, right?
I just saw him getting picked off a lot, so I just like, what the fuck, Bjerg? Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Like, it just felt like whenever T5 was about to start, Bjerg's like, okay, I'm just gonna get this 5 minutes done real quick, and then I'm out, and then he gets like Varus ulted, and then just blown up. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's an awesome meta for Syndra right now. She can do just fine, but it's Bjerg's champion that he's been wrecking on for years now, and so to see this kind of rapid degradation, I don't think it's his Syndra play. It's got to be something a little bit more underlying with his game, I would assume.
Yeah, and I think that possibly if we see Hauntzer really come into his own in this shot caller role, I think we'll start to see, in my personal opinion, Bjergsen clean up his way, because he's expressed multiple times in the past that he's more than willing to step up and be like the emotional core of the team, but he does struggle with shot calling and simultaneously dominating his lane. And it's not that I don't think he can work on it, but I think that, from this weekend, it seems like Hauntzer acclimates to the role very well.
Why have we been trying to push it?
I think it's kind of a relic of the way TSM functions. So
Reggie.
So as we all know, Reggie, with Reggie, Chaos, Xpecial, Dyrus, Odd One, Reggie was like the voice of the team, and it wasn't that. I don't think it was that everybody else never spoke. I think it's just that all the information was filtered through Reggie out to everybody else. So Odd One calls like a jungle timer, and Dyrus says his lane is pushed up, then Reggie makes a call. And I think
Yeah, I think that was they were talking about this in the most recent TSM Legends, right?
yeah, it was something that they mentioned.
Yeah.
It was something that they brought up, and I think that it's just kind of like a mainstay of the way TSM used to function. But I'm glad to see that Reginald as an owner, and also I guess as a coach, since it truly does seem like he's just here as a coach for this.
Yeah, he's back to that, just sitting with the team in between games, yelling at them because nobody else will yell at them.
Right.
It's incredible. It's fun to watch, but then I'm also like, is Parth employed?
Well, I mean, his pick ban has cleaned up a lot.
Oh my goodness, it has, and it makes me very happy because the first couple weeks of the split, I was livid about our pick ban. And so to see it kind of pull together is really nice.
Yeah, and I kind of want to expand a little bit on that. That's something that we've been critical of almost every episode since week one. Has been our pick ban. We've had these really questionable moments where, and I've said it so many times, where TSM was just grab bagging for the most OP champions or what they thought were the most OP champions, and we just were not playing to our own style. And I think that this weekend we saw a completely different pick ban phase. Our drafts, all of our drafts, even in our losing games, all of our drafts look good. I really I just feel so much better about our pick ban this entire weekend. It made me so happy.
And TSM has been catching flack for splits at a time now for being meta slaves. And so to see something a little bit more refreshing, I mean, I know it was a loss, but Renekton, okay, I'll allow it. Like, if we're switching it up and trying new things and trying to be aggressive with them, and, you know, by no means was it a bad pick. We ended up doing pretty darn well with it. So if we can keep our pick ban at the state it is now, maybe try and refine it a little bit more, we will be solid.
Yeah, and I think that's all we can. I think that's what we were looking for coming out of Spring Split. TSM to kind of solidify their foundation and come out solid. But quickly wrapping up game one, MVPs going to you first, Matt. This time, who do you got for MVP?
Svenskeren.
Svenskeren on
yeah,
that
boy. Svenskeren with that 717 cleanest Lee NA. Dardoch, eat your heart out, buddy. It is Daddy Svenskeren in the saddle with this with this Lee Sin. He's got, dude, his Lee Sin makes me want to play Lee Sin, and I'm a mid lane man. It's gorgeous.
Lee Sin is one of the best champions in the game. That's just me saying that. Harry, who you got? MVP. Lee Sin. Maybe we have. I mean, Biofrost again played. I think that he's kind of actually quietly been a very solid player once he's on a support that he's comfortable on.
The problem is when you're playing Nami, it's. I hate to say this. I kind of think it's a low impact champion. It doesn't dictate the game like the Lee Sin does. It kind of just like it busts up your ADC. It can counter engage. It does have that, but it's not. When you're watching a VOD, it's not like, wow, this Navi it's just carried the game for them. That but like you don't really get like 2-man bubbles or whatever. Or is there?
I would argue that in a meta where Jhin is a must pick, Nami it serves so well to diffuse the
Yeah.
I mean, no, against Jhin. Yeah, it's such a good disruptor for Jhin. Playing into a Jhin that I have no real issue with it as far as it's the rest of its impact.
Yeah, I don't have a completely remove itself.
He removed Ultec from the game in a lot.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, like what happened when I'm choosing my MVP, I'm like, okay, who had the most impact and who won them the game? For me, it's very rarely gonna be like, oh yeah, Nami won them the game. Like,
yeah, dude, that Nami hard carry, it's great.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Lee Sin. He went, he dominated the early game. He got TSM to lead, and they executed well enough to where they closed it out. So I'm giving it to Svenskeren.
All right, sounds good. And Kantos, last MVP coming in. Agree with everybody?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Lee Skaren. It was really good. I really enjoyed Svenskeren's Lee. It's always nice to see him dominate on a. It's like watching Bjerg on Zed. It's really nice to watch them dominate on one of their signature champs. So that was a positive. I think if and I know this is kind of jumping the gun, if I were to give a weekend MVP, it would be to Bio. Just because, like we've said, he's been like a secret OP and a really good, especially for somebody who's getting a lot of criticism in the past couple weeks for being part of a losing lane constantly and really not showing a whole lot other than his inexperience, except for on Thresh. So I would say that he's really stepped up this whole weekend and did a really good job of being exactly what he was supposed to be, which is a great support.
Oh yeah,
Definitely not I mean, in some instances a playmaker, but definitely not, the shining star. He's not your Aframu who's making these wild plays up front. But he, in the background, like we said, he had 1 death on Nami. He had 55 assists on Nami over the weekend.
Oh.
Wild, absolutely wild. So I think for this game, it's going to be Lee Scarron. Too good. And then if we go for the weekend, it's going to be Biofrost, just because I love you, Bio Daddy.
Notice me, please.
Yeah.
Notice me, senpai. But yeah, so moving right along into game 2. Game 2. Yeah, we.
This was a heartbreaker, man. Let me tell you.
I agree, and I loved.
I was
like you were
yelling.
mentioning,
I was red in the face, just screaming at my monitor after this game because it's so sloppy.
Yeah, and I think that, like you mentioned earlier, I think one of the things that was interesting was that we saw Hauntzer on the Renekton, which, as you said, I don't think was a bad pick in and of itself. My personal opinion, as we kind of set the stage for this game, was that we picked a series of single target champions, and it was extremely hard to execute on that composition consistently. And even with that said, it still came down to a bit of a base race. Really, in that Bjergsen and Hauntzer were off on the side lane, and they got disrupted by Balls because he's a Nautilus, and that's literally Nautilus' entire purpose as a champion, is just to disrupt people. But we'll go ahead and get into the game. We had Hauntzer on that Renekton, Svenskeren, Rengar, Bjergsen's Echo, Turtle, Ashe, and Biofrost on Nami, because they played Ashe Nami literally for all of FlyQuest series. So
Bjergsen's Echo is a little bit deceptive. His scoreline shows 635. I didn't feel like he was able to control nearly as much as he's been able to control in these games. It felt like when he was on the Echo, he wasn't... I don't want to say he wasn't as impactful, because clearly the scoreline would show differently, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like he had the presence that he normally does.
And I would actually agree. I think that coming from the C9 series where we saw Jensen's Echo, which was playing his heart out, and basically holding the game together, we did not see that same performance from Bjergsen. And I don't know that that's a similar case with Syndra, where it's Bjergsen kind of playing on shaky ground. I really think that this is a side effect of the team composition they picked, where you have to pick one target and essentially blow them up. And it seemed like they were just kind of struggling to coordinate on that constantly. One of the things that I want you to kind of break down for us, Harry, is actually that the ending of the game. I mean, even thinking back on it now, so FlyQuest just weren't playing by the 131 rules, yeah?
They were playing by the ARAM rules, actually. They just ran it. I don't know. High shot calling is usually really sharp. He usually has a good idea what his team needs to do. Maybe he smoked before this game, or I don't fucking know, but he decided that...
Was that a reference to him being possibly high?
Oh my god!
I should just change my YouTube username to Sherlock Holmes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and make that happen.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, though. Maybe it was like this might be crazy enough to work kind of thing, because
maybe.
Well, I mean, we've seen High have plans like that before, like at Worlds, where he had like the Metal Gear Z like side lane mission where he went off on his own to try and take that turret. I'll never forget that, because it was like 3 straight minutes of High standing in the bush waiting for the perfect moment to try and go take an inhibitor, I believe. And I mean, maybe that's High's like backup plans, but outside of that, Kantos, I really want to get another opinion on Hunter's Renekton pick, because while I do think that it wasn't an impactful choice, I don't think it was necessarily a bad choice. Would you agree?
I really liked the Renekton pick, especially if we're trying to essentially, I guess, wean Haunter off of tanks. The next best thing is a bruiser. It's an off tank. Renekton has really good damage. Renekton can still be really beefy. Renekton has good mobility, these are all things that you really need as a top laner right now. You need decent mobility. If you don't have mobility, be a tank. So he kind of has the best of both worlds there. Gets a good amount of damage. He's able to dominate and push lanes really nicely. Has good CC. I like the Renekton idea. I like the Renekton pick. And you know what? If that's something that Haunter is comfortable on, go for it, man. I really enjoyed that pick. The only issue is that I don't think that it synergized as well with the comp that we're trying to go for here. The Rengar just didn't flow as nicely with our Renekton.
I want to see this. Yeah, I want to see this paired with a mage.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Renekton paired with a mage.
I agree. I think the double assassin comp with the Renekton wasn't what we needed. I think that what we wanted was so here's my thinking is what I think they wanted to happen is they wanted to use the Ashe Nami to pick somebody. You know, you get that bubble, you get that wave to just disrupt, you get that arrow, and then you have your assassins jump into that backline. And then basically everybody's ignoring the Renekton. And the last thing that you ever want to do in a team fight is ignore a Renekton. You just think, oh, he's a tank, he's no big deal. But if he pops that ult in the middle of your team, you're losing health way too quickly. So I think they wanted to put all the focus on the assassins, and you give somebody with high mobility, like the Echo, you give somebody with extremely high damage, like the Rengar, and then you just ignore the Renekton, who gets to just run train on the rest of your team. And I just don't think that it translated as well as they wanted it to. It was a good idea, but I don't think that the comp was what they really wanted for this Renekton.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I agree as well. I think that maybe if we kind of shift up the team comp a bit, maybe we put Bjergsen on a more utility-focused mid laner, or just anybody who isn't just a straight-up assassin. I think that we'll probably see better results. I think, honestly, had Bjergsen, I think you actually said this as well, Kantos, we had Bjergsen on the Orianna, if maybe we were hiding a Renekton as like a pocket pick until the end, and maybe we grabbed that Orianna first, I think we would have seen a very different game, and it wouldn't have come down to ARAM, as Harry calls it, ARAM push down mid with TP being disrupted by Nautilus, basically existing near two champions. But, you know, we didn't take game 2. We come into game 3, and we had Bjergsen on his rise, Wild Turtle making very strange team fight decisions around blue buff, and Svenskeren, in my opinion, finally figuring out exactly what he wants to do with his Rengar. And this is something that we've all kind of gone over multiple times, where when we see Svenskeren on Rengar, I'm not going to say he seems lost. It just seems like every once in a while he wants to be tankier than what Rengar naturally is as a champion. He dives in, and he gets blown up, or we just end up with no jungler, and he doesn't necessarily have the same commanding presence. But Svenskeren actually had a pretty solid game this time around, 7-3-6. Bjergsen deathless on that rise at 3-0 and 12. Like I said, Turtle had the strange decision to be the front line near the end of the game, but ultimately it all worked out, and we had Haunter on the tank as well. So I'm actually going to go to Harry first. What's your opinion on Sven on the Rengar? Do you think that we're starting to see him improve on the Rengar play? Do you think that maybe we had enough of a lockdown comp that Rengar was able to shine? What's your take on it?
So, I don't know, Spencer Rengar's been really mediocre all season, honestly. Even in this game, there was like a really extended exchange to the top lane that was really fucking derpy for the Rengar. Like, he was queuing all over the place. It was just like, ugh.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a bit of a fiesta.
It was just like, I don't know. Like, he doesn't seem comfortable in the champ at all. I think Rengar, while he is kind of broken, it does take a bit of time to learn the champion. He's an assassin. It takes time to learn most assassins. Maybe like LeBlanc being the only one that I think you can like pick up and immediately have success on.
You press Q and then you press people, they dead.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to play LeBlanc, but like Rengar, I don't know. Like he just doesn't seem like he's mechanically on the same level of that champ as most of his other champions. And I feel like honestly TSM should just probably ban it. I don't see any reason to leave it up. Just like the Malzahar, like they banned Chase instead.
Yeah, that's questionable. I mean, we do take a lot of punishment for poke comps, but I think Jace is I don't know. Hive might have gone Orianna regardless of whether that Jace was up or
Jace
not.
seems like kind of a ban. It's like we
You know,
might as well do
balls
it.
went Maokai. They would definitely have taken that Orianna regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think so. I think that I don't know. I feel like maybe this is another situation of TSM possibly trying to reshape themselves in terms of team identity. Because over the course of this weekend, we actually saw a pretty wide variety of comps. I mean, we saw Bjergsen on an assassin, we saw Bjergsen on a utility mage in Orianna, we saw Bjergsen on a cancerous blue mage in Rise. We've seen Svenskeren on Lee Sin, on Rengar, on Graves, Haunter, Renekton, Trias. I mean, I guess there's not really a whole lot of variance with Haunter because he's either on tanks or they're struggling in the game a bit. And then, of course, the bot lane, the AD carry meta is a bit stale right now. But I think that
it's as stale as it's ever been,
right.
in my opinion. This is the stalest that AD carry meta has ever been.
No, and I definitely.
You play
I'm
Jhin,
hoping that we'll see
Varus,
some
or you
changes.
lose.
Really, I feel like it's.
I guess Ashe. I guess Ashe as well, but.
Well, I feel like the Lucian god tier above everything meta was probably a little bit worse. But yeah, this is pretty
That is true, but we had double lift, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Was
this
that when we had double lift? Yeah.
no,
okay,
no,
that's
no,
fine.
no. With the Lucian, I mean, yes, last year Lucian was like super top pick ban along with like Sivir, but I think it was
Yeah.
before that when Lucian was literally like god tier. You had to get Lucian, or else the closest next to that was like a B tier Jinx. Like that's just how ridiculously above everybody else. Lucian
Oh,
was.
interesting.
Huh. So yeah, I think last year it was close to that. It was a lot of Lucian.
I just think we gotta do something about lethality. Oh
Yeah,
my
oh, yeah.
goodness. It's just so bad. I play immobile mid lane mages. Please stop letting Talon put his nuts in my face for the first 5 minutes of the game. It's not okay.
I had a game against a Talon yesterday, actually, in my bottom lane.
Yeah,
was
he's
like, why do
been-
you keep dying? And I was like, because I stood near him. I don't know.
He's been massacring solo queue.
He's a definite problem. But, I think that, as you said, the AD carry meta is getting a bit stale, but, we pulled it together for game 3. Svenskeren had an overall decent showing on Rengar. I'm going to go to you first, Kantos, for MVP TSM FlyQuest game 3. Who do you got?
Well, I really enjoyed Bjergsen playing on that Rise. I love more than I love his Rise mechanics, which are okay. I love the realm warps. He plays them so nicely. We had a couple more of those where he played a really nice realm warp. I'm really tied between both of our bot lane. I think the Turtle played pretty well, other than giving me a really bad heart attack towards the end there, where I was literally screaming at
where
him.
he flashed in.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
he's behind the entire enemy team, and I'm screaming at Turtle. But it actually ended up really nicely just because it turned their entire front line towards us, which let our front line dive into their back line. But anyway, I might actually have to give it to Bio, just because, again, we've kind of been talking about him, secret MVP. He played really well on Nami that entire game. Disrupted.
Yeah, if I recall,
Jhin.
he hit a nasty double bubble.
Yeah, he did.
Towards the end of the game there. That was just so
It was actually in
crucial.
that fight that they turned. It was
Yeah,
that last team
yeah.
fight. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually give it to Bio. He deserves a lot more recognition, but he's sadly on a team with all stars. So, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Bio for this one.
All right, sounds good. And Harry, who do you got? MVP.
For game 3, I have I really wanted to give it to Bjergsen, but I mean, I kind of felt bad that I haven't given it to Biofrost yet. Because he had,
Well, don't give him a pity MVP.
like, I mean, oh man, his realm orbs were just so good. I don't know, like, okay, I'll give it to Biofrost because it's a double bubble. It's not a pity one, okay?
All right. Sounds good. And what about you, Matt? Who you got MVP?
I'm giving it to Biofrost. That man
All
has
right.
just been
Biofrost
rock
across the
solid
board.
this series. I mean, his Nami's been dirty. So I'll toss one to Biofrost. Biofrost, hit me up on Twitter. At download some RAM. If you're ever looking for a hot date, because I'm available.
Yeah, across the country, right.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Thinking I won't fly out there for a date with Biofrost? Get out of here.
Right.
I'll buy a plane ticket right now. Watch me. All right.
Oh, man. So that actually wraps up our 2-0 week, boys. Overall, I mean, outside of some weird shot calling hiccups where we found ourselves in an enemy base and we pulled a Dignitas at Baron, I think we're actually looking pretty solid. I think we can make a strong argument that we are emerging as the strongest team in North America. How much water that holds on the international stage, we'll have to see.
Oh no,
less than 0 water, I would wager.
Yeah, but we still have a whole summer split to.
Yeah, exactly.
Do
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to summer almost as much as I'm looking forward to see us close out this spring.
Yeah.
If we can finish it out strong, then I have really high hopes for summer.
Yeah. So with all that being said, I think we can go ahead and wrap things up here. Kantos, Harry, any last words you want to get in?
Yeah, happy birthday to Bjergsen. 21st
Oh, that's right,
birthday.
Bjergsen, my boy, my dear friend.
But you were
hit
just
us
asking
up.
for a date with Biofrost. What's going on?
Hey, you know what? I play the field. Bjergsen's also single. So yeah, no, that's pretty sweet. 21, right? Hit us up,
Yep,
dude.
21.
We'll take you out. We'll have a good ass time. If you're ever in the ATL area, we got two of the boys here ready
we'll take
to
you to the mini bars in Atlanta and let you
take
Atlanta.
them to the varsity. Watch the homeless people sleep
Oh,
on the benches.
God.
It'll be great.
Yeah, we don't need to bring Atlanta experiences into this podcast. We'll be here all night.
But
what
yeah,
about
anyway,
you?
other than Bjergsen's birthday, really happy to see a good 2-0 weekend. Hoping that we can kind of keep up this momentum.
2-0. Who do we got? Who's on the agenda for when we get back? We got CLG. We got Dignitas.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm optimistic.
I am too, but let's just kind of keep it in check.
We're gonna
We
get
never would've
2-0'd by Dig.
Yeah, we never would have thought that we would have gotten 2-0'd by Echo.
Yeah.
But so let's seriously, I want to see more of that great draft. I want to see more of that shot calling by Haunter. I'm really excited for the upcoming weeks here for TSM.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Harry, anything else you want to throw in there last minute?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good podcast. Download some RAM was pretty vocal during the podcast.
Hey guys. Yeah, I'm trying to bring the energy. I'm trying to bring the enthusiasm.
Yep, that's what you're here for. You're the cheerleader.
He's like you are definitely something.
You're yeah, but oh my, okay.
Oh, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you guys so much. When I reached out to you guys, I'm like, yeah, they're gonna be like, this fucking guy, get him out of here. No,
you'll never hear from us again. We kick you out the Discord.
Yeah, after this Discord, I'm gonna be like, oh, wasn't I added to this Discord? No, I'm gonna DM Kantos. He's gonna not respond.
It's like, I don't know who you are. Please stop messaging me.
I hit Kantos up on Reddit. He's like, new phone, who dis?
Yeah.
That's how that works at all.
Oh man, yeah. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thanks, man. It's been a blast being on it. So
yeah, to anybody out there who hasn't already seen his videos, you can find them on the TSM subreddit after most TSM games, capturing all of our emotions.
Absolutely, I make them all fresh to order. I make them after the last game of the weekends, and they get uploaded the following morning.
So pretty consistent upload schedule there.
The upload times for those videos, they normally go up at like 3 a.m. when I finish the editing. So just look for them the following Monday on the TSM subreddit or on my YouTube channel. You should go subscribe. I don't have a customized link, but just, I'm the only download some RAM on YouTube. I'm the only download some RAM on anything, so just look me up.
Yeah, throw out that Twitter.
Look me up, bitch.
yeah, absolutely. That at download some RAM on Twitter, if you can believe it. I'm the one with the customized Pepe as my profile picture.
Yeah, that's a shocker.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it? And r/Malzaharmains. Put me in the mod. I'm the one true mod of that subreddit. You know it. I know it.
Oh man. Yeah. But with all that being said, this has been an amazing podcast. Thank you all so much for sticking with us to the end. We had a great 2-0 weekend. We're looking forward to more from TSM. And since everybody's kind of said their piece, I'll just throw in one last happy birthday to Bjergsen. Welcome to the adult world. You have a much better job than most people. Please stick with it. The adult world sucks. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. See ya.
All right, cool. See you guys.
You guys have a good one.
Bye. Oh boy, my favorite.